and I didn't want to bring it up. You saw this a little bit earlier, but this is an article going back to the original question that we're kind of hashing out right now around
the offspring.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, well, around sex before marriage in
Mhm.
general, or this idea of having a high body count. And when I posted something about this, I think a couple of weeks ago, there was this, term, I think it's microchimerism or something. I probably butchered that, but it's a scientific term that kind of suggests that, there can be genetic material actually left in a woman's body after she has intercourse. And so this article came out, it's from Time magazines, and they kind of reference a few different studies. But basically what it says, it's making this theory that previous sexual partners can actually affect offspring. And here, I'll read a little bit of it. It says it's been a long held belief among animal breeders that purebred progeny are best produced by females who have never mated before. So again, saying it's like, if you haven't made it before, if you haven't been with another specimen before, then that's the best way to make sure that your offspring comes out pure. Says in breeding, it's been a long-standing practice, even though there has never been much science to back it up. Now, however, researchers at University of New South Wales in Australia believe that may finally have some evidence to give that notion some scientific support. Working with flies, Angela Crean, a research fellow at the Evolution and Ecology Research Center, picked up on her mentor's work of looking at how male factors can influence offspring outside of the DNA semen. So again, it's essentially saying that there's some scientific evidence that might be suggesting that, again, the amount of sexual partners that a woman has can actually directly impact future children and offspring. Let's see, even if I go about bottom where it kind of breaks this down.
Yeah, it went on to say even the size, one partner, bigger, healthier children possibly. And then about premature children. So that's a big deal. When you think about it, sharing that is very good because maybe it will make some people
actually think. Yeah.
It might.
So let me see if I can go on a little bit. It says, okay, the genetics test showed that even though the second male fertilized the eggs, the offspring size was determined by the condition of the first male. She says of her findings published in the journal Ecology Letters. The cool thing is that the non-genetic effects we are seeing are not necessarily tied to the fertilization itself. It says cool or really disturbing, but the implication of the study are that any mates a female has had may leave some legacy in the form of physical or other traits that are carried in the semen, but not the DNA containing sperm, that could show up in future offspring with another mate. So again, call it microchimerism. Really, at the end of the day, it is again suggesting that these aren't just some fairy tale ideas that we just grab from the Bible or are trying to push, right? There is scientific evidence to suggest that the amount of bodies that a woman has, not only can it stay within her body, it can directly impact future offspring. And
have you ever heard of people saying, "God, you look like the guy my mom used to." It's like, oh.
I never thought of it that way. And to be clear, I know they said the evidence there is still inconclusive, right? They're basically saying there's still some more research that needs to be done, but I mean, I think a lot of those old wise tales that we've heard, that great grandma used to have, there's truth to that. And they even alluded to it at the beginning, where they're just like, breeders have known, people who breed animals, whatever, they've known that it's better for, the female specimen to not have all these bodies because they have, I guess, better offspring that way. And
I bet they even know more than they're letting on, because
I bet you.
Because when you talk about incest, they can tell you exactly what happened with incest. What happened to the child? This probably came from this. So if they can determine that, then they probably can determine a lot more. Well, inclusive means nothing. They probably just don't want to hang their hat on it. I think that. Don't blame me for it. I think that's what they're saying.
Yes. So I thought that was crazy. Again, God knows if there will ever be in-depth studies related to that. I mean, we talked about this earlier. I don't think there's really incentive to do so because this culture, especially as far as women are concerned, women are sexually liberated. So why would you put out scientific evidence to show that sexual liberation is actually negatively impacting you? But I have long held the belief that it's negatively impacting women. If for no other reason, look at the results of the culture, right? Marriage rates are low, single parent households, STDs. And then at the same time, it's like, as a result of all that kind of different stuff, now you have less people to a certain extent wanting to get into marriage or wanting to commit because they're like, this is just drama. Like, I don't want nothing to do with it. So it just seems like sexual liberation has caused more problems than it supposedly was supposed to have solved.
It's making everybody crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Act out. They don't know, the purpose of it. They're just doing it because someone said you're able to do it now. And it's just going on and on.
Right.
And nobody cares about being moral, I don't think.
No.
Until they get a certain age and then they decide they want to be, with one man or what have you and get married. And by that time, it's so many possibly other men that have left an imprint. Now that person is off. We see it all the time, but we just never know why. Things happen. We just never know. Could this be associated? Is this real? Is this spiritual, or is this just how this person is behaving?
Yeah.
I never know.
Absolutely.